Hello, welcome to Atascadero Civics. My name is Christina. Today I will be talking about Atascadero's 1% sales tax measure, measured D-20. As with all my videos, this is meant to be a starting point for your own research. I don't want to tell you how to vote, and I don't think I'll be providing enough content for you to completely understand the issue if this is your first time hearing about it or you've just vaguely heard of it. But if you follow the links I provide and do some reading, you'll be totally prepared to vote. Measure D-20 is a sales tax measure that is meant to benefit emergency services, fire, and police, and any other need the city has since it's a general tax. It requires a simple majority to pass. For the text of the measure, see your voter guide, which came with your ballot. And you can also find the full text of the measure on the city website, and I'll put the link to that in the description. The city website also has an excellent FAQ page that answers questions like, what is the difference between a general sales tax measure and a special sales tax measure? And if Measure D-20 were to pass, will there be any oversight for the expenditure of Measure D-20 funds? I'll put the link to that page in the description as well. And that page has links to videos of city council meetings when they discuss the tax measure. There's PowerPoint presentations and resolutions if you want to do a really deep dive. This measure, surprisingly, has the support of all 5 members of the city council, Republican, Independent, and Democrat. And I will be reading a couple of statements from city council members at the end of the video. It is supported by Mayor Heather Moreno and mayoral candidate Jerry Tanimoto, as well as city council candidates Tori Keene and Mark Darez, and city council member Charles Bourbeau, who is running for re-election. It is opposed by mayoral candidate Josh Donovan and city council candidates Nick Mattson and Brett Heineman. The Yes on D20 campaign has a website, yesond20.org, and I found yesond20.org/y-d-20 especially helpful to understand their arguments. It's just written in a way that makes a lot of sense to me. And an argument in favor was submitted to the voter guide. There is no campaign against D-20. From what I've seen from conversations in Facebook groups, the measure seems mostly opposed by people who would prefer no new taxes, or at least very limited taxes that take more of the voters to approve and have an end date. There's also a mailer going around criticizing Mayor Moreno and Jerry Tanimoto for supporting the tax. The mailer was paid for by a group called Atascadero Citizens for Accountability that has an address in Fresno and one single donor who lives in Templeton. And I'll link and I'll put in the description a link to an article discussing this in more detail. So I took notes while watching the candidate forums, and so I'll put a few notes that I'll read a few notes that I took from opponents of the tax. So Josh Donovan thinks the city has failed at economic development. He advocates getting creative and using the income streams already available. He criticized the fact that it's a general tax and not a special tax specifically for police and emergency services. I'll just interject here that if this was a special tax, it would need to be passed by a 2/3 majority. Nick Mattson wants to raise the level of economic industry. He wants us to work to become a community of the future. I will link to the forums in the description so you can watch their full statements and the statements of other candidates. I'll end this video with statements from our mayor, Heather Moreno, and one of our city council members, Susan Funk. It's possible to find quotes from all the city council members by watching videos of past meetings or by reaching out to them. But here are statements I received about the measure. Statement from Mayor Heather Moreno. With the lowest per capita revenue in the county, the city stretches every dollar through staffing and forced choice prioritization, doing far more with far less than imaginable. Moving forward, we're stretched too thin. The city has widespread needs in public safety, infrastructure, community development, and other areas. Despite our success in economic development, it only goes so far. After 20 public meetings in the past 2 years discussing our budget and financial condition, citizens asked that we place this measure on the ballot, giving them the opportunity to make this important decision. Had we not done so, we would in essence have decided for them, which wouldn't be fair. Through public engagement, transparency, and our Citizen Sales Tax Oversight Committee, the public will provide input and accountability to ensure funds are spent properly. And here's a statement from City Council Member Susan Funk. Atascadero has the lowest revenue per person of any city in Sloat County. For years, it's been making do by stretching staffing thin in public safety and other areas, deferring large purchases and road maintenance, not fixing the roughly 70-year-old downtown fire station, and still the city has been spending its reserves to fill the gaps. New hotels and other economic growth will help, but we can't grow our way out of this problem. There isn't enough suitable land in town to generate the badly needed tax revenue this 1% sales tax on taxable goods will bring. If you care about public safety, if you want businesses and jobs to come to our community, if you want a safe and vibrant community where our kids have a future, please invest in Atascadero by joining me in voting yes on Measure D-20. Let's do this together for the future of the community we love. All right, well, that's it from me for today. Make sure you have a plan to vote and get those ballots filled out and put in the mail or find a drop box and get it in soon. All right, bye.